So good day sir, I am J. Cadet Lauronal Alan J, and we are the group 3. So I am here to discuss my assigned topic. So enumerate the proper procedure sequence in mooring and anchoring. So mooring is a procedure to anchor the ship to a fixed or floating element and keep it connected during loading or unloading operations. So safe mooring must withstand several forces such as wind, the current, the tide, and waves. So anchoring is a frequent operation on board as loading and unloading a cargo. So the proper procedure sequence in mooring. So mooring operation is one of the important tasks that seafarers have to perform on ship's deck. Technically, the operation may seem simple, but there are several dangers associated with it. So this must be considered while handling mooring operation on ships. So number 1, don't allow any extra crew member on the deck. Ensure that no extra personnel are present at the mooring station except those who are involved in the operation. So anyone who is not assisting in the mooring operation must be asked to leave the mooring station for his or her other safety. So that's all, sir.
Second is consider the weather condition. Before planning the mooring operation, consider the weather condition by taking factors such as wind and current. The ship's master and the responsible officer or OOW must have the details of current and future weather data before commencing the mooring operation. Third, have knowledge of snapback zone and rope bight. All personnel involved in the mooring operation should be aware of the snapback zones and rope bight. Fourth is check all the mooring equipment. Check all the equipment such as mooring winch, drums, windlass, etc. involved in the mooring operation for any kind of problem. Proper routine maintenance is the key to ensure smooth running of mooring equipments and system. Next reporter, please.
5. Check the tail of mooring line. If the mooring wire is provided with tail, short lengths of synthetic fiber rope which are placed in the series with the vessel's winch-mounted wires decrease mooring line stiffness and thus to reduce peak line loads and fatigue due to vessel motions. Ensure same size and material of tail are used for all lines in the same service. Breast, spring, and headline. Different tail size and material would lead to uneven load in the mooring line. 6. Tend one line at a time. Only one line should be tended at a time during mooring operation. If this is not done, it may increase the load of other tended lines. If two lines are tended together, it may lead to overloading and breakage. Follow the orders of the master of responsible ship officer properly to avoid any kind of mishap. 7. Keep a check on the mooring line load. Ensure that the allowable breaking load in any mooring line does not increase 55% of its maximum breaking load. MBL, this is to prevent the line from breaking.
8th, avoid mixed mooring. Mixed mooring is extremely dangerous. Generally, mooring lines of the same size and material should be used for all leads. If this is not possible due to the available equipment, all lines in the same service, etc. breast line, spring lines, headlines, and stern lines, should be of the same size and material. The use of mixed mooring compromising full-length synthetic rope used in conjunction with wire should be avoided. If a synthetic rope and a wire are used in the same service, the wire will carry almost the entire load, while the synthetic rope carries practically none. So 9th is keep a continuous check. Load on the mooring lines must be checked continuously even after the mooring operation is over. If there is any change in the ship's ballast condition, the line must be slacked or tightened accordingly. The condition of the rope material should also be checked to foresee unfortunate accident.
Number 10. Arrange mooring line symmetrical, and all mooring line must be arranged as symmetrical as possible with the breast line. The breast line should be perpendicular to the longitudinal center. The line of the ship and the spring line should be parallel to the longitudinal center line.
Holding power of anchors. So, all other factors being common, there are three things that affect holding power of anchors. First is the construction of anchors. Second, nature of seabed. And third, the scope of the cable. So, holding power due to anchor construction, a ship's equipment number decides the weight of the anchor and length of the chain. The float area determines the holding power of the anchor.
Go.
Holding power due to nature of seabed. Another factor that affects the holding power of the anchors is nature of seabed. Anchors embedded into soft mud would leave the bottom easily compared to the more harder surface like sand. Mariners must consider nature of seabed to determine the possibility of dragging of the anchor. Holding power due to scope of the anchor cable. The correct scope is essential for safe anchoring and better holding to anchor.
Preparing for anchoring. Preparing the vessel for anchoring can start days before arrival. This is when master checks the charts for marked anchorage areas days before arrival. Anchorage area for the vessel could also be suggested in the agent's pre-arrival message. In any case, the anchorage area must be physically checked in the chart. Anchor stations. Anchor stations should be ready forward well in advance. Anchor party should make the inspection of the anchor windlass. They should also ensure that the drive or the hydraulic power packs or the electric power is running well. The lashing of both the anchors should be removed even if it is pre-decided about which anchor will be used.
Approaching the anchorage position. The most critical factor while approaching anchorage position is the speed of the vessel. Engine must be ready and tested well in advance, and the speed of the vessel should be under control. If master feels the ship speed is much more than what it should be, he should exercise zigzag maneuver to reduce the speed.
6. Anchoring methods. As we know, there are two ways an anchor can be dropped to the seabed: by letting go and by walking back. Each of these ways has its advantages, and in most of the cases, it is up to the discretion of master how he wants to anchor. Letting go an anchor. In this method, we open the windlass brake to let the anchor go under gravity. Before opening the brake, we must consider the height from which we plan to drop the anchor. Anchoring by walking back. Walking back means lowering the anchor with gear. The principal difference between walk back and let go methods is that the walk back will lower the anchor under power.
Number 7. Anchor brought up. Once we have lowered the required anchor length and we have disengaged the gear in the case of the walk back, we then wait for the anchor to be brought up. The anchor is brought up when it leads to a long stay and then gradually comes back into short to medium stay. Once brought up, there is an important thing that we need to do. Put the bar or bow stopper on the rest of the anchor chain on it, because the load generated by the vessel's movement during its stay at anchor should be borne by the bow stopper, which has higher capacity than the windlass system. And that's all. Thank you.